What's up, guys? Part 2 of the speaker slash interior removal install. So I mentioned in the first section that the front 6.5-inch speakers were not going to clear the door nor the door card. So I ordered adapters on Amazon. Where's the other one? I got one installed. It's literally just like close enough for the door to close all the way. I bolted it. It's not bolted in all the way, but it's roughly in place, and the door does. All the tabs go back in just fine. So these are the speakers here. The rear I have to modify just a tad, or I'm gonna see if I can bolt it directly on the inside of the car rather than through the door panel. That might make it a little bit easier for me, but these are the adapters I ordered. It's more of a spacer and an adapter. So the 2 bolts there, one in the middle, goes on like that, and then you just bolt the speaker to these holes here. They have different adjustments for different size speakers. So let me pop this door panel back off. Oh, I bolted it all the way in, didn't I? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So this is how it looks after you put the adapter. I mean, I only have this one screw, just kind of so I could get it mocked up and put the door on, because I didn't want to tighten all this down and then this not fit. So I'll put the link in the bio for the speakers, for the adapters I ordered, and yeah, pretty much comes with all the hardware. The adapters are like $40 or something. They're a little pricey, but they fit like exactly how you'd want. So let me take this back out. These black screws come with the speakers. I'm gonna move some of these bags of stuff. These come with the speakers. These are what come with the adapters. So as you can see here, the speaker just fits in here. The problem I was having before was the speaker was rubbing on this. As you can see, it was hitting throughout here. So the spacer brings it out a little bit, and the spacer bolts right through there. 1, 2, 3. There's a nut and a bolt. So see the nut. This side, there's a washer. I didn't put the washer on that one because I was test fitting. The other 2 have washers. So I'm gonna take that one nut, put a new washer on it. But you see here, it literally just bolts up to the OEM tabs. I mean, you have a little bit of room for play, but you kind of just want to center it, bolt it down. Once this is bolted down, plug your speaker in, because once the speaker is bolted to this, you won't have enough room to get your hand back there unless you're to go through here, but that's kind of a pain. So plug this into your speaker and then bolt your speaker to this. So I'm going to put the washer on that, and then I'm going to tighten these in the position, kind of center. This is left, so you have a little bit of room for play. I'm going to center it, tighten it down, plug this in, put the speaker on there, bolt the speaker in, put the door back together, and then should be good to go for this door. I might leave this door card off, honestly, because I got to change out this this lock actuator. So I might leave this door apart, but the driver's side is, I'm pretty sure the driver's side is mint. When I hit the lock button, it works on that side. So driver's side is going to stay apart until I fix the lock actuator. It's probably going to be a separate video, just because there's a bunch of different things I got going on right now with this car, and I'm trying not to make the videos too clustered. I want something like the video to be focused on one thing. So let's get that mounted in there, and then I'll show you guys how it looks when it's all done. All right, guys, so I got the speaker installed. 1, 2, 3. You don't really need the 4th one. As you can hear, the music is playing just fine. Make sure you connect it before you bolt it into the plate. But she's working. All right, so moving on to the rear panel, the rear speaker. This one's a little more tricky because there really isn't an adapter for it. It does bolt up, but it's a matter of like clearancing issues. So as you can see, the speaker here, right, I can get the bottom of it to kind of sit where it's supposed to be, flat against that, but the top, it's like hitting on the sides, right? See how it's not, sorry for the lighting, but it's not all the way in there. So either I would have to bolt this directly to the car, which I did try, but then I have the opposite issue where this lip here is hitting the rubber piece, which I don't want to damage this because it'll ruin your speaker. So when I bolted this directly to the car and bypassed bolting it through here, this was rubbing on the lip of this. So either A, I can bolt this to the car and then trim the plastic here so that it doesn't hit, or I would have to trim this out for the speaker to bolt up to it. All right, guys, so I made a decision on which route I'm gonna go with cutting the thing to fit. So I'm gonna actually trim this panel and bolt the speaker to the door, because to try and trim the thicker part of this here rather than the lip would be a lot harder. So what I'm gonna do is just trim the entire piece of this around, and hopefully it works out. I'm just gonna put this up here for now. Right, so all you're gonna do is trim this. Over here, I got this little Dremel with this little sander thing on here. It's like a little kit you can buy at Harbor Freight for super cheap. Here's the thing for it. But it just plugs in, and then all I'm gonna do here is turn it on. And then you just ream your way through it. I gotta adjust it a little bit, but basically this is supposed to just sit on this rubber piece here, and then you go around and whatever you want to do to make this go away. This is basically what I'm saying. I'm gonna use this Dremel. I gotta adjust it a little bit because it's coming out, but that's what you'd want to do to trim this. I'm gonna trim this piece and then see how it fits. Guys, I ended up just using the cutoff wheel with the air compressor, the big guy. It just made things go a lot faster. It's a little messy right now, but that's why we have this. I'm gonna clean up the edges with this so it's not so sharp and it doesn't rub against the speaker at all, just to get a more clean cut. But this is definitely the way to get big chunks out. So now that I've used this, I'm gonna clean it up with this, and then I'm gonna repeat for the other door panel. All right, guys, here's the finished product. As you can see, there's no lip left. Don't mind the plastic. You just want this to be smooth more or less through here. Get rid of the lip. You don't want any big jagged pieces. You kind of just want this to be flush, and then just get rid of all the excess. Don't mind, like, the plastic can look messed up. There's a cover that goes here. So that's kind of how you want it to look. See how it's all shaved out? I mean, I could probably go a little deeper there, but it's pretty close. So before you put this back in, I'm gonna clean it off, get all these plastic shavings out of here, and then we'll see how it fits. All right, guys, we got the speaker mounted up here. I did have to drill an additional hole in this plate. You see how this plate has certain holes, right? So this speaker doesn't exactly line up with all of them. This is supposed to mount here, which I got one. And then I used one of these like tiny little holes that I can barely fit the screw through, lined up with that one. And then over here, I had to drill a hole like in this metal to get the screw to line up with the last part of it. So now the speaker is mounted to the door. Make sure you hook up the wiring first. The speakers do come with adapters for the car. So that's bolted in. Now we're gonna see how the clearance is with this panel that I just cut. So it looks pretty good, right? So we're just gonna stick this on in there, move the seatbelt out of the way, kind of line this up, get that in there. This is off just a little bit. Put push this through here. Fall into place just like that. All right, let's clip it in. You just want to clip it in enough to where you can just get a feel for how the thing fits, you know what I'm saying? So push that into there, pop that in, pop that in. All right, that's roughly in place. Now you see here, the trim job did absolute perfect. Doesn't hit at all, it just clears the lip of it around the top, the sides. That fits great. Now this is the cover that goes on top of it, so you won't even see it. I'm pretty sure it goes in just like that, and boom, you're all set. So there you go, clip that in. Literally cannot even tell whatsoever that there's a 6.5 inch behind there. Just got to modify this a little bit. Same with that one, you had to just buy the adapter plate and make sure it's centered. But that's how you mount up the 6.5 while it's in there. I'm not permanently putting this plastic piece in here because I got to change out these gray seat belts. I actually just scored a pair, or a set I should say, of the black seat belts off of a part out local to me. So I'm probably gonna just do that off camera because it's not really super complicated. It's just unbolting and bolting some stuff in. Other than that, super happy with how this worked out. I mean, a little customization, but I've heard 6.5s aren't really meant for RSX, but I hear mixed opinions. So that's how you do that. Look, flush fit, doesn't bump out. We're gonna turn the car on now and see if we got audio back here. And I will put a link in the bio for how to bypass the amp if you're interested for that. Put a link to the speakers, put a link to the adapter, and then yeah. Hey guys, one thing to be mindful of when you're doing the amp bypass, it's a little tricky because the wires are short. I mean, you could pull the loom back a bit, but this speaker was not working. Obviously, you can see I just took it back apart. I was checking the power and ground. I got power, I got no ground. Went back over here. See how this one's got a single wire? The rest of these all have two. This red wire is supposed to be with this blue and yellow. If you go back here, blue and yellow, right? And then red is power, or I mean ground, or whatever it is. But it's not getting no ground, so it's got to be ground. See how this popped out? I got to put these two together, and then my speaker should work. So I must have stepped on it or something. I mean, it's very cluttered in here right now because I just have all my tools and all my parts kind of everywhere. So that's probably my fault, but make sure that those don't pop out. Otherwise, you're going to run into the same issue I had. So let me fix that wiring real quick, and then I'm going to put the speaker back in, and then that should wrap it up. I'm not going to do the seatbelts today, like I said. Pretty much just bolt on bolt, you know. So I'm not even going to make a separate video on the seatbelts. It's pretty like self-explanatory. Bolt, couple bolts. So let me fix the wiring, put the speaker back in, and then we should be able to wrap up this video. Alright guys, I just fixed the wire here. Red and blue, or red, blue, yellow, all together. That should be all set for now. The rest of these you don't need. Pin out, I'll post, like I said, the link. Got this bolted back in. Power on. Hopefully nothing blows up. Key on. Should be able to hear both speakers now.
Shout out to Leon Dowdy out in Winstead. All on the check-in. Appreciate that love.
There we go.
Get Monday morning. Hot morning crew got more chances for you.
That's both. I only heard this one because I'm sitting close to it. But
right now, including the grand prize up on that hot937.com. Pay attention and stay focused. Get that free ticket.
That's both speakers working in unison.
said you love me, so why don't you trust me? That's how every love song starts.
Both speakers are working in unison, and they actually sound pretty damn good. That's only one side of the car I've done too. That's just the passenger door and the rear speaker back here. I haven't even attempted to do the driver's side at all. Like, I haven't taken any of the panels off. As you can see, I'm kind of trying to do one side at a time. That way it's less crowded back here. So I'll probably do the seat belts on this side, and then from there I'll put this panel back in to make sure that's all tidied up. And then I got to do the door actuator. Maybe if I have time tomorrow, I don't know, then I could put that door panel back together. I got to replace one of the nuts on the mirror because for some reason it's missing, and that side was completely loose, so I ended up having to tighten that because it was like flopping. So other than that, I'm pretty sure that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. We covered the adapter for the front speaker, the wiring, the modification to the rear panel to get the speaker not to rub on the rear panel, drilling one hole in the speaker so that you can just bolt it in here. Yeah, I covered in the first half how to take everything off. I'm pretty sure. Got to unbolt this rear seat, unfortunately. I think that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you learned something. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
High